Hi there, I'm Nicole Matheson. I'm a couple therapist and relationship focused counselor. Today, we're going to talk about how to lessen those big trigger moments. What can we do in that moment? But how can we actually make it so that we don't get so intensely aggravated, triggered, upset, pissed off, annoyed in those moments? Let's take a look.
All right. Look, everyone comes into my counseling and therapy office and says, Nicole, what do I do in that moment where I am absolutely losing my shit? I'm really triggered. I don't know what to do. And I think of that moment as this sort of peak, right? This is the peak where we are just like triggered, whoosh, our paths are activated, they've taken over our system, our belief, our thinking, our body, our physiology, our heart rate's up, we're in survival stress. This is the peak, and I call it the point of impact. The point of impact, right? This is the moment where we are fully hit by all of it. And everyone asks me, how do we change that moment? What can we do in that moment? And I think it's really important to think about what we can do in that moment, but it's actually pretty minimal. Thinking about that moment and how we can change it is not as beneficial in my belief system as zooming out and thinking, how can I change this moment before it, right? Which I call the build up. And what can we do in this whole build up to change that peak, that point of impact, right? I believe that in the build up, we have a lot more opportunity to change the course of events, to get to be aware and to interrupt whatever is going to go on in here. All right. But also, what about this bit? You're going along in your daily life. What can you do in your daily life that means that the build-up is less, you are less vulnerable to things even building up, right? So I call this the cultivation. What can you do in the cultivation that is just part of your routine, your self-care, your relationship interactions that is going to help you not even feel the aggravation, the resentment build up that's going to take you up here. The other things that we can look at is the recovery, right? Because actually, once you've been to that peak, it can take a little while to get back down. But the sooner we think about what we need to come back down and we actually take action and take steps to come back down, the lower this peak and the easier. Like maybe it's going to be a bit more like this and not quite so peaky. Maybe it's not going to last as long, last less time, and be less intense. That, my friends, is a result. If you can have it lasting less time and being less intense and less peaky, that is a result. So getting straight into your recovery can also help. But I also want to consider a very, very important aspect, which is the repair. And the repair means we actually come back to addressing what went on at that pointy bit. We readdress this, and maybe we're readdressing this, the parts, the things that went on that built up to the peak. And maybe we even have to readdress this, like our rituals and our daily life are not working, and I need boundaries, and I need a different system at play, and I need more self-care or whatever it is. But the repair is where we actually address it. We come back in. And what I've noticed with the couple therapy work that I do is that repair, when it is a part of your routine. So yes, you can have blow-ups and you can have conflict and you can have discussions that really don't go all that well. When you start having a good practice of repair, this is what happens, right? We don't need to explode as much. We don't need to bring every single item that annoys us plus the kitchen sink. We can trust that we have healthy, safe, respectful conversations about this. So things are going to get resolved, or at least understood. We are going to be understood. When there is good repair, things are less peaky. So I just want to say, instead of just looking at that peak, that one point of impact, and what can you do in those moments, let's zoom out and think about what can we do all around it that is going to help bring that peak right down, make it less peaky, less intense, and last for a lot less time.